So recently, I've been thinking a lot about AI and how it's going to affect the future of software development. And I've specifically been thinking about it from the point of view of React, right? Because my whole YouTube channel is dedicated to React. And I wanted to take those thoughts and really put them in a video here because there's a lot of voices and a lot of opinions, right? A lot of people are talking about this, and it's very easy to feel overwhelmed and honestly scared about the future of your career. Right? Especially if you're starting out, if you're a junior developer or somebody who's looking to get into software development, it's very easy to feel like you have no future in this career and that AI is completely going to replace and take over your job. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's most likely not going to happen, at least I think, and I want to give you a kind of objective prognosis as to what I think the future is going to look like and how AI is actually going to play into all of that. And really, the goal here is to give you all of the information so that you're able to prepare yourself for this future and to take action. Because although AI is most likely not going to take over your job, it is going to change your job and you need to adapt to it if you want to succeed. So let's begin and let's talk about it. All right, now the first thing, before we get into any of these other points here, the first thing that is the most important that we all agree on and that you agree on if you want to be successful is that AI is here to stay. Look, no matter what your personal opinions on AI are, if you like AI, if you don't like it, if you think it's good for the world or not good, or even how much you use it in your daily life, the truth is that AI is here to stay and it's not going anywhere. We collectively, as a society, decided that we want to have AI in our lives. And what we are going to do is we're going to push until everything is absolutely automated and we cannot do anything else, right? So AI is only going to get more prevalent in the general world, but also in software development. And so that's the first thing. You have to accept that AI is here to stay and it's only going to get bigger. It's only going to automate more things because if you don't, you are going to fall behind because the rest of the world is on board with it. And then we have the second point over here, which is actually something that I've been thinking about quite a lot recently, and I haven't been able to get this thought out of my head, which is that you need to understand use effect to be able to use AI effectively. Now, what does this mean? Well, I use use effect here because, again, my whole channel is about use effect and you and I both know the hook use effect. But really, this is a general statement that says that for you to be able to use AI effectively, you need to be able to understand the code, right? To be able to understand the code that the AI writes, to understand the code that you write and that AI helps you write, and generally to be on top of what is actually happening code-wise to the thing that you're using AI for. Because if you don't understand that, if you don't understand the code, contrary to what some people might tell you to do, right, like vibe coders, for example, you are going to run into very big problems with AI. And I'm using use effect here because use effect is a great example of some of these problems that you can run into that you can relate, right? You and I both know how use effect is, right? It's a hook that looks very simple on the surface, right? But it's so deep. There's so many things that go into it. And there's so many ways that you can actually shoot yourself in the foot and not do things correctly. You can miss something in the dependency array. You can have a stale value. You can have an infinite loop, right? You can cause a performance problem. There's a bunch of things that can go wrong. And for you to be able to use effect correctly, you need to understand it at a deep level. You need to understand what use effect is, how it works, how React works, how the component works, the lifecycle, and all of that. And only once you understand these things can you actually tell the AI what to do. Because imagine if you don't. Imagine if you have no idea what use effect is and you tell the AI to build you some feature, right? And it uses use effect for that and it does something wrong, as AI models usually tend to do. Then you're going to have a problem that you have no idea how to fix. I personally, right, as a senior software developer, as a senior React developer, I cannot fathom completely trusting an AI model today, right? Any of them, no matter how good they are, right? No matter how big the model is, I cannot fathom fully trusting an AI, especially to do my use effect, but also generally with code. I might trust it to write some boilerplate code, to build me a skeleton, to write me some tests, right? Or things like that. But to fully trust it with use effect, with my code, I cannot do that because it is going to run into some problems and I will have to jump in and fix those problems when they come up. Right? So that's very, very important that you actually understand the code. And this actually brings me nicely to my third point over here, which is that deep understanding of code is now more important than ever. So now we have these AI models, right, who we thought were supposed to completely replace software developers, right, and not have us do our job anymore. What they actually ended up doing is they made us having a deep understanding of the code so much more valuable and so much more important than it ever was. Because here's the thing. As a software developer, your job, right, was never about writing the actual code, right, about the programming aspect of your job. Your job was always about solving problems. And the way that you solved those problems is you used code to actually solve the problems, right? You built products, you implemented features, you designed systems, right? You architected things with the ultimate goal, right, where you were hired by a company to build a product that solves a specific problem. And the way that you did that is by writing the actual code. Now with AI, your job description hasn't changed. It's still exactly the same. You still have to solve problems. You still have to design systems. You have to think about trade-offs, right, and implement proper solutions. What's changed is the actual programming, the actual writing of code. Less and less are developers actually writing the code themselves, and more is the AI actually writing the code for them. And so with that, you would think that understanding the code that you're actually writing or that the model is writing is no longer relevant because the AI can just do everything. That's what every single vibe coder actually thinks, because they don't actually know what goes into building something and solving a problem. They don't know what goes into the actual job of a software developer. If you're a software developer, you know that understanding your code, all of the potential edge cases, right? All of the trade-offs versus one solution against another is extremely important. And that was the biggest part of your job, right? You spent a lot of time thinking about things, planning things, and a little part actually writing the code. And with AI, that hasn't changed, and it made the deep understanding of code so much more important than it ever was. And so to get there, you have to actually learn how to code. And here's the thing with AI. This is now my next point over here. Learning to code hasn't changed for decades. It's still the same, even that we now have AI. If you want to actually learn how to code and to get that deep understanding of code to then be able to tell the AI what to do, you still need to do the same exact things that you had to do 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 50 years ago. You have to first spend the time actually learning the thing. Then you have to spend time putting in practice the actual thing that you've learned to really cement the knowledge. And then you have to spend the most of your time struggling and figuring it out, right? To actually understand all of the different edge cases and all of the specifics of the thing that you're learning. And then you just repeat the cycle over and over again, and you basically continuously learn, right? Because as a software developer, you never really stop learning. You just continuously learn, and at some point you will find that, hey, I know how to code, right? So now, even though we have AI, and even though every single developer is using AI, this fundamental way that you learn how to code has not changed at all. The only thing that has changed at this point over here is that you can actually use AI to completely skip this learning phase, right? Instead of going out and learning and struggling and really wasting time, not wasting time, but spending time struggling to figure things out, you can actually skip all of that, go to the AI model, go to Claude, go to Gemini, go to GPT, right? And tell it, give me the solution for this code. It is going to look at your code. You can have an agent that runs, right? And it will give you a solution. It will implement something that works for the most part, right? And you completely skip this entire process of learning. And that's what, unfortunately, a lot of developers, even most new developers, are doing. And the reason why they're doing that is because it's easier, it's more convenient, and you can get more while doing less. And that in and of itself is a huge problem that is going to explode in a couple of years when we realize that we actually no longer have developers who are coming into the workforce who actually know how to code. And all of the senior developers are retiring, they're changing careers, they're doing something else, and we're going to have a gap in people with actual knowledge that the AI cannot fill. Again, right, the AI is good at writing code. It's good at being an assistant, right, at doing the tedious stuff, the boilerplate and stuff like that, but it cannot do all the deep understanding of code, of systems design, system architecture, design patterns, and you always have to check it. You always have to steer it in the right direction, and you need to put guardrails around it, and the only way that you do that is by actually understanding and learning how to code. Right? So if you're smart, you will double down on deep understanding. This is why I'm making this video, right? My whole channel is about teaching you React, right? Teaching you how to code. And I hope that you've noticed I've spent a lot of time on this channel actually diving specifically deep into the code because I knew about this. I knew that we're going to have AI, right? AI is going to completely take over the writing part of actually writing code. And what's left is the deep understanding, which is more important than ever. And so that's why this channel is here. That's why this video is here. And if you're smart, you will double down on this understanding. You will spend the time to actually learn. You will seek out the resources, right, to actually figure out what to learn, what's the most efficient way to learn, and you will spend the time to struggle to really make sure that you get it so that you can build that deep understanding that is going to make you invaluable in your future. And then if you're really smart, you will also use AI to speed up your own learning, right? Because AI can not only write the code for you, but it can also help you learn and help speed up that whole process, right, of learning and help reduce the amount of time that you spend struggling. AI is a phenomenal resource for actually learning, and unfortunately, I don't see a lot of developers utilizing it for that. They would rather use the AI to do their job for them instead of them putting in the hard work, which can be made easier using an AI to actually learn, to then be able to much more effectively use AI and be so much more productive. And so if I was you right now, if I was starting from scratch right now to actually learn React, I would heavily use an AI model to help me learn. I would ask it any question that I have, because when I learned, we didn't have this and I had so many questions and I did not have any answer. I had to spend weeks, months, sometimes even years to finally get an answer to my question. Now with an AI model, you no longer have to do this and you can instantly get an answer to any question that you want and then ask any more follow-up questions that you want. And that is how you will win in this modern industry where we have AI that is working alongside with us, right, as developers. That is the only way that you can actually win. If you follow all of these steps over here and you're smart about it, you understand what you need to do, you understand what skills are going to be valuable in demand, and you understand the most efficient way for you to actually get them and to use all of the available resources and tools that you have available to actually get there. So I really hope that with this video, you now understand exactly what you have to do. Now you have the information, right? Now you have the plan. The only thing left is for you to actually get serious about this and take on the work for yourself and actually just do it. And let me now end this video with a shameless self-plug, just because I genuinely think that this is the best resource out there. If you really want to have a true and deep understanding of the code and how everything works to really make sure that you're using AI correctly, come check us out on Cause and Code. Cause and Code is my new learning platform, and I teach you React deeply so that you get a fundamental understanding of everything that you need to have a successful career as a full-stack React developer. We have here a complete roadmap from start to finish on everything that you need. That starts with JavaScript, goes into React, design patterns in React, and then there's a bunch more courses coming all throughout next year, which will cover every single topic that you need to know and understand to be a successful React developer. You can come here, you can check out the roadmap, and if you're curious, you can come here, you can check out all the users that are currently working on the platform. You could be one of them, and you can even compete to have the #1 rank. You'll find the platform at causeandcode.com, or it's going to be the first link in the description down below. So there you go. That's it. That's all that I had for this video. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure to leave it a big thumbs up. You can also click here to subscribe. You can click here to watch a different video of mine that YouTube seems to think that you're really going to enjoy. And with that being said, my name has been Darius Causen. This is Causen Solutions. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao.